Hey, 120 days until my final exam, so I am screwed. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies. Yay! And today I'm going to do another movie review on a movie that I watched, a great one, in fact, and that is The Master by Paul Thomas Anderson. Again, I am trying my best to watch as many great movies released in the decade as possible, as well as bad movies, so that I can make the decade end list. I have watched Boogie Nights, also a movie by the same director released in the 90s. And Boogie Nights is this really long, ambitious epic about porn actors. And it's brilliant. I love it a lot. I gave it a 10 out of 10, a strong 9 to a 10 out of 10. And then we also have The Master, released in, I think, 2012, I think. And it's very, very, very different from Boogie Nights. Like, very different. But I can say that it is equally as large of a movie as Boogie Nights. Maybe not as large. Maybe not as large. I haven't watched There Will Be Blood though, so maybe There Will Be Blood would be my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie. So this movie takes place in the late 50s, early 60s, I think, and it's about a man whose name is Freddie Quell, who used to work for the Marines, now a man with a normal life once again, and he's kind of damaged because of that. He first of all, he has this um addiction to women as well, but it isn't as a huge thing in the movie anyway. Secondly, after he stopped being a Marine, he was kind of jobless, and he did have a few jobs, but he never did great. He never enjoyed any of it. He never really had a real vision in life and future, so he sort of just drifted along from job to job, meeting new people, leaving old people, and just moving on with life, just drifting around, not really caring about his life whatsoever. And then one day he stumbled upon a man named Lancaster Dodd, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in peace. Also, Freddie Quell is played by Joaquin Phoenix. Anyway, he met this Lancaster Dodd guy, and he's actually this really well spoken scholar who has written many books and who started some sort of organization called The Cause, where it includes his family and a lot of his friends as well. And I know this movie never really mentioned the word Scientology, but I think it's pretty obvious that The Cause might be a reference to the birth of Scientology. Lancaster Dodd is not L. Ron Hubbard, but you can really see the similarities between The Cause and the cult that sort of grew into Scientology. And in The Cause, we have some concepts about sort of having past lives, and if you get hypnotized by the master, aka Lancaster Dodd, you can actually see your past lives. And there's also a thing in The Cause called informal processing, where the master asks this person a bunch of questions, a bunch of really sensitive questions, in order to, I guess, clean him from his past burdens. It's just really weird, really abstract, and kind of hard to get around the concepts that builds this cause, or this Scientology esque religion, almost occultism, almost. I don't want to dabble too much into religion in my YouTube channel because I know it's kind of controversial, but this movie is kind of about religion, and the script is incredibly clever. And also, Not only do we have Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman as the two main characters, and them being buddies throughout the whole movie, just friends, very good friends. We also have Lancaster Dodd's wife, who's played by Amy Adams, also a really, really faithful member of the cause. And then we also have Rami Malek's character, who plays the husband of the daughter of Lancaster Dodd, the son-in-law of Dodd. And we also have Val, who's played by Jesse Plemons, who plays the other son of Dodd. Even Laura Dern is in the movie for some duration, not throughout the entire movie, but in a few scenes, she's there as one of the members of the cause as well. So, I don't know how am I gonna talk about this movie, because I'm gonna be honest here, after watching the movie, I have no idea what I've just watched. On the first half of my viewing of the movie, I still kind of grasp what's going on, but at the second half, especially towards the end, nothing makes sense. And it's not in a way it's unrealistic, in a way it's dreamy or crazy or insane, but more just not making sense, and not even in like a plot hole bad writing way. In a way it's trying to hide itself. It's trying to hide the truth, hide the reality. So the plot folds itself in such a weird, irregular shape, and that it tries to not show everything to the viewers. But anyway, before I get into the deep plot stuff in the movie, I would like to talk about the other aspects of the movie. Of course, we have the acting. It is incredible. It is so great. It's like insanely amazing acting. Joaquin Phoenix has always been one of the best actors of our generation, and his performance as Freddie Quell might be the best of his career. I think even better than Joker and Her by Spike Jonze, because he just completely morphs into his character with the hunched back, the the lips thing, and also the frowns and the way he speaks. It's very it's very impressive. Also, equally as impressive, if not more impressive, Philip Seymour Hoffman as Lancaster Dodd. I mean, he has played so many different roles before. Not only was he the homosexual boomer guy in Boogie Nights, but also Capote. His performance in Capote is one of the best of all times, in my opinion. It's fantastic. And then we also have Lancaster Dodd, and he's just really confident. He really keeps his posture, and he uses sophisticated words all the time very naturally, but when he has these outbursts, he really delivers them. And also when he speaks, he adds a bit of comedy. The cinematography, as expected, is fantastic as well. Paul Thomas Anderson is no stranger from great cinematography. I mean, look at Boogie Nights. Some of the flashiest, most colorful, vivid, and fun cinematography comes out from Boogie Nights. The very iconic 180-degree crash pans, the zooms, the very amazing long takes, they're all in Boogie Nights. And when it comes to camera movements and color palettes, this movie is actually super duper different from that of Boogie Nights or Magnolia or Hard 8, PTA's debut. This movie, it's the way it's shot, the way it's edited, the colors, the style, the production, it's all very elegant. It's all very formal and kind of soft and soothing, but not necessarily in a dreamy way, but definitely in a formal way, if you know what I mean. And there are a lot of still shots that are very clean, a lot of wide shots. There are a lot of great tracking shots and pans in this movie, but they're all very slow and very objective and very wide as well, making this movie feel incredibly just spacey. Like this film is not really meant for its viewers to take sides or be in the shoes of of one of its characters, unlike in Boogie Nights, where I feel like I'm in Dirk Diggler's position. Um, anyway, other than that, I think the music is pretty good, surprisingly good. I mean, again, the movie feels elegant. It feels formal. It's not grand or luxurious or anything, but it feels formal. We get really beautiful just walls of strings in the movie that are very gorgeous, and we also get some minimalistic percussion, which really pairs with these strings really well. Not necessarily mastering the entire sound of the movie, but definitely adds onto the movie, making it more elegant. And yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of cinematography, this shot where Joaquin is just lying on the deck of a ship, this is like one of the best movie shots of the decade, straight up. It is friggin' fantastic. And other than that, let's get into the screenplay and the plot itself. I think the script is incredibly well written. The dialogues are incredibly realistic, and I just love how whenever there is drama and tension in the movie, the dialogues still feel just slightly comedic. That actually also applies to scenes in Punch Drunk Love. And again, I just really love blends of comedy and drama. I really, really love that. And when it comes to the plot, while yes, I do have to agree that this uh, the plot of this movie isn't really accessible to the mainstream because this plot is very elusive. It's very enigmatic. It's really hard to understand. It's very abstract and intangible, and there are so many scenes that feel irrelevant. And it's a slow burn, and it's a very cerebral one, very cognitive one. You really need to think a lot in order to get into the movie. Even right now, I have not fully grasped the meaning of the movie, especially towards the end. But still, the premise and the plot of the movie definitely feels original, very creative, really well thought out, and very, very clever. This movie talks about religion, and it shows different sides of religion and the nature of religion really, really well in depth and in detail. This movie doesn't really shit on religion, saying that, yeah, religion is blasphemy, it's stupid, but it also doesn't force you to like religion. Like, religion, it's a new way of life, it's the best way of life. If you want to be free, have faith, have religion. This movie sort of shows both sides on the religion. We have Freddie Quell's side, who is definitely not a man of faith, but at the same time, I think the movie is also about the friendship between Freddie Quell and Lancaster Dodd, and they are two very, very different people. Quell really doesn't give a shit about his life and his future. He just wants to live and whatever, it's whatever. And then we have Dodd, who keeps on looking for answers, who's trying to spread the word, spread the message about how being in the cause, being in this particular religion is the way to live a free life. It's the only way. And so they're very, very different people, but the way they interact, it's very entertaining, very clever, and I love it. There's a scene towards the beginning of the movie in the first act, the informal processing scene, where Dodd basically asks a lot of sensitive questions to Quell. That scene is brilliant. It's one of the best movie scenes I've watched in a very, very, very long time. The acting is fantastic, the script is fantastic, and you just feel this tension, but it's such a head scratching and intangible and abstract tension. The scene went from being very lighthearted, where Freddy basically laughs because he farted, and then he started to get frustrated, angry, and then at the very end, guilty and sad, but then later on, happy and free, and all within just one scene. And that's very brilliant. We also have a scene later on in the movie after Freddie Quell questioned Dodd's faith. Dodd and Co. decided to completely convert Freddie into one of them by telling him to do all these ridiculously weird exercises, like trying to turn Amy Adams' eyes into different colors, trying to sit still and not react to anything said by Rami Malek. And the most challenging of all is to touch the wall and say what it feels like until he says the right thing, which is apparently everything. Like, you could feel everything in this wall, like like people, like the gardens, the concrete, the glass. But it's a fucking wall. And then of course we have the ending, which right now I'm still very confused about, because Freddy had a dream, and this dream actually led him to somewhere in real life, which confirmed that this dream is precognitive, which is almost supernatural in a sense. And at the very, very, very end, I don't want to spoil anything, but at the end, even though Quell and Dodd really respects and enjoy their friendship, Quell left because he didn't want to be in the confines of a religion. He didn't want to be constricted by some sort of faith. He didn't want rules in his life. He just wants to live a life and keep moving on. And it's almost a poetic ending, almost poignant, which is also kind of sad. But it just really makes life life. Yeah, the movie definitely grew on me very slightly after I finished seeing it. I don't think it's great. It's really hard to understand. It's like 2001: A Space Odyssey. That kinda hard to understand. But still, I'm saying that The Master is a movie worth watching, and it's, yeah, I'm giving it a strong 8 to a light 9 out of 10. Please go watch it. So, have you watched The Master? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Also, I will be reviewing Christopher Nolan's Inception.